Hare Krishna Ji. Hare Krishna. Hare.
Let us start. Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshal, Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri, Gurave Namaha. Om Sindurarunavigraham Trinayanam Manikya Spurattaranayakashekaram Smidamukhi Mabhinavakshoruham Panibhyamalipurnaratnajashakam Rattotpalam Vibratim Saumyam Ratnagadastharaktacharanam Dhyayet Paramambikam ध्यायेत् पद्मासनस्तां विकसितवदनां पद्मपत्रायदाक्षीं हेमाभां पीतवस्त्रां करकलितलसत् हेमपद्मां वराङ्गीं सर्वालङ्कारयुक्तां सततमभयदां भक्तनम्रां भवानीं श्रीविद्यां शान्तमूर्तिं सकलसुरनुदां सर्वसम्पत्प्रदात्रीं सकुङ्कुमविलेपनामलिकचुम्बिकस्तूरिकां समन्दजिदेक्षणां ससरजावभाषाङ्गुषाम् अशेषजनमोहिनीं मरुणमाल्यभूषोज्ज्वलां जपाकुसुममासुरां जपविदौ स्मरेदम्बिकाम् अरुणां करुणातरङ्गिताक्षीं धृतपाशाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणचापाम् अणिमादिविरावृतां मयूकैः अहमित्येव विभावये महेशीम् ॐ पराशक्ति नमः ॐ पराशक्ति नमः ॐ पराशक्ति नमः. So today we will move from 361 till 375. We will cover from 361 till 375. ॐ तमोपहायै नमः ॐ चित्यै नमः ॐ तत्पदलक्ष्यार्थायै नमः ॐ चिदेकरसरूपिण्यै नमः ॐ स्वात्मानन्दलवीभूतब्रह्माद्यानन्दसन्दत्यै नमः ॐ परायै नमः ॐ प्रत्यक्षिदेरूपायै नमः ॐ पश्यन्ते नमः ॐ परदेवतायै नमः ॐ मध्यमायै नमः ॐ वैखरीरूपायै नमः ॐ भक्तमानसहंसिकायै नमः ॐ कामेश्वरप्राणनाढ्यै नमः ॐ कृतज्ञायै नमः ॐ कामपूजितायै नमः. So we will start with the first name, which is Om Tamopahayai Namaha. So Tamopahayai Namaha, the word, the literal meaning is she who removes the ignorance born out of tamas. She who removes the ignorance born out of tamas. So tamo is actually drawn from the word tamas. And what is tamas? Tamas in physical terms is the night time. Physical night time is called as tamas. Tamas is also the state where one is completely overrun by avidya and maya. Avidya and maya. This is the state when a person is supposed to be in tamas. So she is the person who dispels ignorance. And what is ignorance? Ignorance is illusion or maya. So Devi removes the devotee's ignorance. So Devi is also referred to as the primordial sun, the sun that rises up, that covers that completely removes the darkness that is there, which refers to the tamas. So that is what tamopaha refers to, and she is Om Tamopahayai Namaha. 362 Chit. Om Chityai Namaha. Om Chityai Namaha. Now, Chit refers to Brahman, which is pure, the purest form of intelligence is called as Chit. And this Chit is that extreme wisdom which is considered to be the opposite of avidya, opposite of ignorance, which is called as avidya. Chit is a state of wisdom, and this state of wisdom generally talks of, there are three aspects, which is Icha, Jnana and Kriya. Icha, Jnana and Kriya. So, if there is the Icha means the desire to learn. All this is for learning. The desire to learn, and one gets the Jnana, which is the capability or the knowledge, and these two will result in the power of action, which is called as Kriya. So first we need the Icha Shakti, then we have to supplement that Icha Shakti with Jnana Shakti. Once we supplement the Icha Shakti with the Jnana Shakti, then automatically the Kriya Shakti will happen. So this is, in fact, there is the 658th name of Devi, Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Om Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupinyai Namaha. So that is the name, 658th name of Lalitha Sundari Devi. We will come to that later. But this is just talks about Chit. With that, to achieve that Chit, she who is in the form of pure intelligence, we have to achieve that Chit. So that we need to achieve that Chit, we have to have the Jnana, we have to have the Icha, and only then we will be able to act towards achieving that Chit, which is pure intelligence. 363 Tat Pada Lakshyartayai Namaha. Tat Pada Lakshyartayai Namaha. She who is the embodiment of truth. She who is the embodiment of truth. What is this truth? This truth is referred to as Tat. This truth is referred to as Tat. So she is the embodiment of Tat. Now this takes us to another aspect which we have always heard, especially if you are going to Sabrimala. Tattvamasi. We've all heard that Tattvamasi. What is Tattvamasi? It basically means Tat is referring to Brahman, and Tvam is Jiva, and Asi is oneness. So it counts of the principle of non-duality. That you are God. That is what this ultimately refers to. Tattvam Asi. So if you look at Brahman, you look at the concept of Brahman, which is your ultimate essence. You have two aspects of Brahman. One is called as the conditioned aspect, and the other is the unconditioned aspect. What is the conditioned aspect? Conditioned aspect is called as Sakala. The unconditioned aspect is Nishkala. Now, if you look at it from the form from our worship perspective, Sakala is a physical representation. Now, the conditioned aspect is where our mind is conditioned to see God in a particular form. So we are conditioned in a particular form. So if you're looking at look at Lord Shiva, you're talking of the physical representation of Lord Shiva. You're talking of the physical representation of deities with attributes. Say for instance, you're talking of Lord Shiva as Shiva Nataraja, So that is a physical form or the Sakala form of Lord Shiva. Now you have the Nishkala form of Lord Shiva. What is the Nishkala form of Lord Shiva? Which is the formless essence of Lord Shiva, which is the Linga Swarupam. The Linga Swarupam is the formless essence of Lord Shiva. That is the Linga Swarupam. Now you have a combination of the two, which is the Sakala Nishkala version. The Sakala Nishkala version, which is the Mukha Linga, where you have a Linga with the face of Lord Shiva on that Linga. That is called as the Sakala Nishkala version, which is a combination of Sakala and Nishkala. So when you're looking at Brahman, Brahman is the conditioned form, which is Sakala, and the unconditioned form, which is called as Nishkala. Now you have also got the earlier, we have also talked of it, Saguna and Nirguna. We have talked of Saguna and Nirguna, where you talk of a form which is Saguna and formless which is Nirguna. It is a Nirgunayai Namaha. We have covered this name also of Devi in the past. So, what is that? There is a commentary by Bhaskara Raya. In the commentary of Bhaskara Raya, the literal meaning of Tat is that of the conditioned Brahman. He says that Tat is the conditioned Brahman. But if you are looking Brahman, so if you are looking at the conditioned Brahman, the thing is the conditioned Brahman is always looking at the essence, trying to find the essence. Always trying to find the essence, which is the soul, which is what we are looking inwards, trying to find that basic concept for which we all stand for. So that Brahman, the conditioned Brahman, is also looking inwards to find the unconditioned Brahman. Therefore, even if Tat, as per Bhaskara Raya, refers to the conditioned Brahman, that is also referring in turn to the unconditioned Brahman. So, the formless and the unmanifested nature of Devi is again referred to here in this particular case. Now, so we are moving to the next one, 364. Chidega Rasa Rupini or Chidega Rasa Rupinyai Namaha. Now, Chit is again you're talking of Chit. Chit is pure consciousness. Chit is referring to pure consciousness. Eka is undivided. Rasa Rupini. Rasa means the essence. Rupini means the form. So, who is Devi? Devi is the nature of pure intelligence, who is the cause of knowledge. So, she is the causation. We'll come to causation later as well, but she is the cause of knowledge. Now, Chit, which is pure intelligence, is the attribute of unconditioned Brahman. So, you're looking at the conditioned Brahman, the physical form. Unconditioned Brahman is the absolute essence, and Devi is the absolute or Chit is the attribute of this unconditioned Brahman, which is the pure essence. Now, the conditioned and unconditioned, we are talking of Saguna and Nirguna or Sakala and Nishkala. Even that Brahman are not different, because what we just talked about it. When you are talking of the Sakala aspect, which is the conditioned aspect, what is the objective of the conditioned aspect? The objective of the conditioned aspect is that we will have to look at achieving the unconditioned aspect, which is the essence. When you're looking at achieving the essence, Devi essentially is the same, is that single essence as this mantra declares, which is Chidega Rasa Rupinyai Namaha. Devi is Chit. She is pure absolute intelligence. 365. Om Swatmananda Lavi Bhuta Brahmadhyananda Sandatyai Namaha, or Swatmananda Lavi Bhuta Brahmadhyananda Sandatihi. So when you're looking at just the name, when you're talking of it in the name as it is pronounced, it is Om Swatmananda Lavi Bhuta Brahmadhyananda Sandatyai Namaha. Yeah. So she who makes the bliss of Brahma and others insignificant compared to her own bliss, compared to the bliss of Devi herself. Swatmananda. Swatmananda is bliss of herself. Swatmananda is bliss of herself. Lavi Bhuta, attained or realized. Brahma Dhyananda. Brahma Dhyananda. Brahma Dhyananda is the joy experienced by Brahma. Santatihi, which is continuous stream or lineage. Santati means children or lineage. Yeah. So the collective bliss of everyone from human beings to Lord Brahma pales before the bliss of Devi. Very simple. When you are looking at in this description of Devi, when you are looking at the bliss experienced when you experience Devi, that is well beyond the bliss experienced by all human beings and going all the way up to Lord Brahma. Even that cannot be matched when you're looking at the bliss of attaining Devi. Now, if you're looking at spirituality, there are a lot of people who are following spirituality. So you'll be thinking, why are they following spirituality? Why are they into all this, giving up all worldly aspects of life and then going in a path of sannyasa, trying to achieve spirituality? What is the need of all this? The reason is that joy in attaining the bliss of experiencing Devi is far, far, far higher than what one experienced in real life. So that is the reason why people all sannyasis, yogis, all these people go in pursuit of trying to realize Devi. So that is why this is there, which basically talks of the importance of understanding that the bliss of Devi is far superior to anything else. Devi is the pure manifestation of that Amritanandam. Amritanandam, which is immortal bliss. Immortal bliss. That is what Devi stands for. She is the pure manifestation of Amritananda. 366. Om Parayai Namaha. 366. Om Parayai Namaha. So, this is several aspects are there in this particular name. Now, she is considered to be extremely supreme. The literal meaning is she who is supreme, she who transcends all. Because that name Para has got several aspects. If you look at Para, you got Paramanandam, yeah, or Parashakti. She is supreme. That is one aspect. But the other aspect is that word Para is there is a sound manifestation of Brahman. There is a sound manifestation of Brahman. If we need to know that we are alive, if I need to know that I am alive, that aspect of life inside me is coming out in the form of sound. It's coming out in the form of my sound. Or when animals speak, when animate aspects speak, animate aspects communicate, there is sound. That sound is called as the Shabda Brahman or Shabda Brahman. Shabda Brahman, which is the sound form of Devi. Now, there are four forms of this sound. There are four forms of this sound. The first is called as Para. The second is called as Pashyanti. In the names that follow, we will be covering these names. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari. These are the four forms of Devi, which are of the sound, which is the Shabda Brahman, the four forms. Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari. These are the four forms, four aspects of Devi in the form of sound. Now, when Pralaya happened, when the complete dissolution of the world happened, at that time the entire universe merged back into Brahman. Entire universe came back, and the jivas were part of this. They were part of this this entire mass which was coming together. Now, this aspect, this state of Brahman, when everything was there together but inactive, that particular state is called as Ghanibhuta. Ghanibhuta. That state is called as Ghanibhuta, which is a bound state where nothing is happening, everybody is sitting silent, everybody is waiting for creation to happen. Nothing is happening at that particular point. Nobody is clear whether creation is going to happen or not. The next state, when there is a longing for creation, when the creation has got to happen, At that point in time, the state of Brahman is called as Vichikirsha. Vichikirsha, that is the next state of Brahman, where there is a longing for creation. They want creation to happen. So they're waiting for it. So that is the next state. Then when the state of creation is going to happen, it's called as Avyakta, where they know the creation is going to happening, but in what form, in what shape, that is unclear. It's called as Avyakta. In that state of creation, that is called as is a state with three gunas. All the three gunas are also coming in at that particular point. At this point, you have something called as the Karana Bindu. You remember we have covered before. They have called as Purusha and Prakriti. So Devi is the Karana Bindu, the cause. She is the cause, the Karana Bindu, and from the Karana Bindu we have something called as the Karya Bindu. Karya Bindu, Karana Bindu leads to the Karya Bindu. Karana Bindu is the cause, and the effect or the action that comes as a result of the cause is called as Karya Bindu. So the Karya Bindu, when the Karya Bindu happens, that leads to this concept called as Para. The effect which is called, it's called as Para, and that is supreme consciousness, which is called as Para. From Para arises the concept called as Nada. Nada is sound. Nada is sound, which is the which is called as the come back to the Chit Achit concept, which is the supreme concept of Para, is called as Para is the supreme concept, so it is called as Chit, which is the supreme intelligence. From this comes the Chit Achit, which is the sound aspect, which is the Nada, and from the same Para arises the Bija, which is the gross aspect. So this is the way in which creation happens, where it starts with the state of inaction. From the state of inaction, the preparation for action. After the preparation for action, the actual action, and from that action, which is called as the Karya Bindu, you are having what arises called as the Para, and which is supreme consciousness or Chit. From Chit comes the Chit Achit, which is the Nada or the sound, and the other aspect is the Bija, which is the gross or the going beyond the subtle aspect. So the subtle aspect is Nada, and the gross aspect is the Bija. So this is the actual flow of the way the concept of Para comes about. Now you look at it from this is the cosmic perspective. You look at it from a body perspective. The Para is at the Mooladhara. Para is at the base, at the Mooladhara, and this is in a state of non-motion. This is in a state of non-motion. From there, when the sound rises up and comes to the Manipura chakra, that time Para has a little more aspect to the sound. There's a little bit of vibration, and that causes the sound, very little sound. It's called as Pashyanti. The sound rises from Para. It comes to the Manipura chakra. It is called as Pashyanti. It goes higher. It comes to the Anahata chakra. When it comes to the Anahata chakra, it goes to the next step. It's called as Madhyama. It becomes a state called as Madhyama, where this concept of consciousness which is reached here, or the Shabda Brahman which is reached here, combines with the intellect, and it is called as the Madhyama. It goes even higher. The throat, and develops in the mouth. It becomes an audible sound. It is called as Vaikhari. So if you are able to hear what I am speaking now, it is my Vaikhari. It is my Vaikhari, which is actually what you are hearing. Vaikhari is the audible aspect of sound which you are hearing. So this is where there is a maximum manifested aspect or manifested motion. So if your vocal cords are actually moving, that is your Vaikhari that is moving. That is your Vaikhari that is happening. Why is it happening? It is because of Devi's infinite grace. If that grace is not there, you will not be able to utter one word. So when we are speaking one word, whatever word we speak also, we should speak with care, with awareness, because each word that we speak, each word that we speak is a manifestation of the infinite grace of Devi. Each word that we speak is a manifestation of the infinite grace of Devi, and it's an example that Devi is present. Now we can turn around and say that, all is this all scientifically, is it proven? Well, possibly science might not have answers to this, but it is there in our scriptures. And how many cases we have had where our scriptures have been proven true. So let us not turn around. And there is another aspect, that where spirituality starts, science stops. Where spirituality starts, science stops. Let's not go too far into trying to reason and try and understand or put a scientific temper to everything related to spirituality. Let us understand that aspect of it as well. So we have covered even the other aspect of para, which is the fact that para refers to the supreme, the word supreme as well. So the next few words also we'll be covering the other names of the sounds. We covered para, which is the most basic sound, which is at the Mooladhara chakra. 367. Pratyak Chiti Rupa. She who is the nature of unmanifested consciousness or the unmanifested Brahman. She is the nature of unmanifested consciousness or of unmanifested Brahman. How are we going to look for it? Pratyak Chiti, Pratyak, which means looking inward. Chiti refers to Chit, Rupa, the form. So, in order for us to look, we have covered this as well, in order for us to be able to understand ourselves or connect with ourselves, what do we need to do? We need to remember that all our sense organs are outward looking. All our sense organs are outward looking. All our sense organs look outward. So if you're looking at our eyes, they're looking outward. Our ears are looking outward. Our smell is actually taking smells from outside. Tongue is based on what goes into our mouth. Again, that is based on outward. And touch depends on what happens from the outer or the external world. So all this is external looking. So for us to understand about ourselves or understand about Devi who is within us, what do we need to do? We should turn these senses inward. Turn these senses inward. So if you turn the extroverted senses in the opposite direction, inward, or the sense forms which are basically looking and looking for names and forms outward, when all these aspects are brought down, then the inner knowledge starts manifesting itself. That's when we start trying to see inwards. You have that the concept in Ashtanga Yoga, which is the pratyahara, withdrawal of sensory perceptions, the fifth step, withdrawal of sensory perceptions. If we are able to withdraw sensory perceptions, that is the step when we start going closer and closer towards supreme consciousness. The first four aspects of yoga are external. First four aspects of yoga are external, which is yam, niyam, asana, pranayama. Those are external, but the next four are internal. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. All those four are inward, looking more and more inward, trying to understand ourselves more and more inward. More and more inward we look, the greater the chance of trying to understand what supreme consciousness is all about. So that is what this refers to, Pratyak Chidi Rupayai Namaha. This is the unmanifested Brahman that begins to shine when the senses become directed inward. Devi is the nature of that Brahman which is inward. 368. Pashyanti. She who is Pashyanti, the second level of sound after Para. And she is in the Swadhisthana chakra or the Manipura chakra. Now, in this case, Pashyanti is one who sees. Pashyanti is one who sees. So she is called as Nadarupa. We've called her in the earlier name. We have found that she is Nadarupa. She is the Shabda Brahman. The earlier name also we spoke about Shabda Brahman. So she rises above the path of karma and shines in the path of knowledge. And she has also got another name which is called as Uttirna, one who is risen. One who is risen. Where is she risen? In the form of Shabda Brahman. She is risen from Para into Pashyanti. So that is why she is called as Uttirna in this particular case. And she sees all in herself. The entire creation is there in Devi. That's why she is called as Pashyanti. It's called as Pashyanti. Paradevada. Paradevada. She who is the supreme deity. Parashakti. We Om Parashakti Namaha. That is the first thing we say. She who is the supreme deity, the extreme level, the supreme form of Shakti, Parashakti. So she is the supreme form and she is the supreme deity. Paradevada. 370. Madhyama. Om Madhyamaye Namaha. That is very simple. She who is between Pashyanti and Vaikhari. The Shabda Brahman. We spoke about the Shabda Brahman. As the Shabda Brahman rises, she goes, she starts from Para, gets to Pashyanti, from Pashyanti to Madhyama, and from Madhyama to Vaikhari. So between Para and Vaikhari, she is called as Madhyama. Madhyamaye Nama. 371. Om Vaikhari Rupaye Namaha. Vaikhari Rupaye Namaha. She who is in the form of Vaikhari. Now, Vaikhari is sound in the manifested form. The sound that we all hear, the sound that you are hearing of me is my Vaikhari. Similarly, you have your own sound, which is your Vaikhari. So, your own manifested sound is Devi within you manifesting itself. So, if you are going to be very very careless about the words, through this form of speech that you have, you are actually speaking ill. So you are having Devi within you, which is speaking in a form which is unacceptable. So that is something that we have to be very careful. She is in the form of Vaikhari. She is sound in the manifested audible form. Now, if you split that word Vaikhari, Vai means certainly. Vai means certainly. Kha is the cavity, and this cavity is referred to as the cavity of the ear. And Ra means radiance or radiating. It refers to radiance or radiating. So Vaikhari is the sound that is radiating inside the ear. It is there inside the ear and it radiates inside the ear. Now, when people are dying, they say that you should tell them the Taraka mantra. The Taraka mantra. The Taraka mantra should be told to them in their ears through that Vaikhari, through that sound, through the ear, through the cavity, through there is certainty in that. Because what is the certainty? And that certainty is that when this sound is heard in the ear, it will result in breaking the cycle of birth and death. It will break the cycle of birth and death. So what is this Taraka mantra? This Taraka mantra is a mantra which Lord Shiva in Kashi whispers into the ears of those who are dead. Lord Shiva in Kashi whispers this mantra into the ears of the dead. What is this mantra? This mantra is Rama Ramaya Namaha. Rama Ramaya Namaha. This is there even in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranamadattullyam Ramanama Varanane. Obviously, that is too long a name for Lord Shiva to say. So, Lord Shiva says Rama Ramaya Namaha. And that is when that is whispered into the ears of those who are dead or dying. So, that is the time when they completely get freed from this bondage. They get freed from this cycle of birth and death. So if you have somebody who is elderly, who is in a state of suffering, or you think is going to pass away, please go there, please chant. There is no point in going there and crying. go there and chant. What do you chant? The name of Lord Rama. The name of Lord Rama. The more you chant the name of Lord Rama, the greater the chance of that soul being being blessed with breakage of this bondage, and being freed from the cycle of birth and death. Complete moksha is given to that soul. That is something that we should remember. It's an audible mantra, audible chant of the mantra is important for us to ensure that that person gets complete moksha. 372. Bhakta Manasa Hamsikayai Namaha. Bhakta Manasa Hamsikayai Namaha. Bhakta refers to the devotees. Manasa. Manasa means the mind. Hamsika. Hamsika is the, you're talking of swans. You're talking of the swans. So, she who is the swan in the minds of her devotees. That is the literal meaning. She who is a swan in the minds of her devotees. Or you can say that the lake of the minds of her devotees. In the lake of the minds of her devotees, she who is the swan. Which is this lake? This lake is Manasarovar. There is a lake called as Manasa. That is referring to Manasarovar lake. There is a Manasarovar lake. And during the summer months, you see these swans floating around. These swans floating around. So, just as the swans play in Lake Manasa, Devi is in the hearts of the devotees spontaneously and undisturbed. Devi is floating in the hearts of her devotees completely, spontaneously and undisturbed. That is the most beautiful place. I have not been to Manasarovar. It is also on our bucket list. So hopefully with a bit of luck, we will go and see Manasarovar and Kailasha as well as one trip together. Madhamridandamayi says that Devi does not have a place of her own. Madhamridandamayi says that Devi does not have a place of her own. Her children's hearts are the abode that is dearest to her. So her children's hearts are the abode that is dearest to Devi. So that is what Madhamridandamayi says. Bhakta Manasa Hamsikayai Namaha. 373. Kameshwara Prananadhyai Namaha. In this case, the name alone is Kameshwara Prananadi. Kameshwara Premanadi. Prananadi. Kameshwara Prananadi. So, she who is the very life of Kameshwara. Who is Kameshwara? Kameshwara is Lord Shiva, her consort, Devi's consort. So, Shankaracharya in Saundarya Lahari says, even the Devas who consumed the nectar, that removes old age and death, perish during the Pralaya. When the Pralaya happens, even the Devas who have consumed the Amrit, they also die during the Pralaya. Lord Shiva, who consumed the virulent poison, he can defy death even at that time. He can defy death even at that time when Pralaya happens. But the reason for this is not just this, the Nilakanta perspective, where Devi held the neck of Lord Shiva, but the power of her ear ornaments. The power of the ear ornaments which resulted in Devi ensuring that Shiva does not die during the Pralaya. The brilliance of those ornaments, the darkness of the poison fades and the poison ceases to be virulent. Yeah, this is how Devi becomes the Prananadi of Lord Shiva. And generally, once you've become a widow, when ladies become a widow, I'm not talking of now, earlier, when ladies become widows, they stop wearing this, the ear, what do you call them? Earrings. Tadanga Mahima. That is called as the Devi's Tadanga Mahima. So what you can also do is, like what Vaishnavi and Aditi did, went to Global Village and bought a lot of those wonderful earrings. So find out more earrings and wear it as often as possible, so that your Tadanga Mahima will ensure that your Patidev stays safe. Yeah. In fact, even during this, what that Prema Panduranga says, when you come for any satsang and all that, especially the satsang related to Lord Krishna, you should be dressed in your best. You should not come in a kachara form wearing some dress. You should come like as if you are going for a wedding when you are going to listen to the glory of Lord Krishna. Don't come in a very ill-dressed form. So you should come in a completely well-dressed form. That is when Lord Krishna himself is completely pleased with your presence. 374. Kritagnya. Kritagnya. So Kritagnya has got several meanings. Krita basically is that which is done, or action, or deed, an action or a deed, that which is done. Ajna. Jna means knowledge. Jna means knowledge. So she who knows all of our actions as they occur. She is completely aware of what we are doing, what we have done, what we are doing, what we are going to do also. She is completely aware. She is completely in the know. And Kritagnya has also got a meaning of one who rewards the worship and offerings of her devotees by imparting knowledge, jnana. She imparts jnana. That is something that she does. Now, this Krita has got several meanings. Krita refers to Krita Yuga. Krita Yuga is the other name of Satya Yuga. Another name of Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga. Then in Krita Yuga, Dharma was 100% Dharma. 100% Dharma. The Dharma was followed at all time. In Treta Yuga, Dharma declined to 3/4. 3/4 Dharma and 1/4 Adharma. Then in Dwapara Yuga, Dharma, Adharma 50-50. And we are living in Kali Yuga, where Adharma is 3/4 and Dharma is only 1/4. Congratulations. So we are in a state where we are completely overwhelmed by seeing Adharma all around us. And we are supposed to keep quiet and say that we want other Dharma to stand up. Tough going. Yeah. So we should realize that we are in that state where Adharma is actually ruling. But Devi is Kritagnya. So she knows what has happened in the Krita Yuga. She knows what is Dharma as per Krita Yuga, and she implements it again and again. So don't think that by doing some Adharma you can get away with it. Devi is Kritagnya. So she knows when Adharma is happening. So ensure that you are on the right side of Dharma. Don't be on the wrong side of Dharma and expect to get away with it. Be on the right side of Dharma, because Devi is Kritagnya and she knows. Again, Devi is witness to every action. Mata Mridandamai says, when a thorn pricks your foot, we know. Why do we know? Because a signal goes to the brain. The minute the prick happens, it hurts, and that hurt and it's registered in the brain. Similarly, you have the Lord inside your heart. Lord is inside your heart, and the each of your good and bad actions are known to the Lord. Yeah, it is the truth as declared in the scriptures. This is not my words. These are not my words. These are words of Mata Mridandamai. So, if you look at it, the sun, moon, time and Yama. Sun, moon, time, Yama and the 5 elements, the Panjabhutas, are all witness. They are the 9 witnesses for every action. They are the 9 witnesses for every action. Time and Yama is one and the same, although they are referred to as a separate aspect. So again, you look at from another perspective, the sun, moon, air, fire, sky, earth, water, heart, Yama, day, night, twilight and Dharma are witness to every act of man. Every act. All these are Devi's glories. So she is a witness to everything. There is a third interpretation. The third interpretation is that if you play a game of dice, in the game of dice, I'm not talking of the normal dice that we have. A normal dice has got 6 faces. So there are 6 numbers to it, but in the game of spiritual dice played between Lord Shiva and Devi, there are only 4 sides. And these 4 sides are Krita, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. And these correspond to numbers 4, 3, 2, and 1. These correspond to these 4 sides, those numbers. So when a throw of Krita happens, that is the highest number. That is the highest number. That is the highest number, the highest value, and whoever throws that number wins that game. So when this game happens, what happens is that Devi wins the game. The game between Devi and Sadashiva, when there is a game between Devi and Sadashiva, Devi always wins the game. Devi always wins the game, and she is certain of that number. She is certain of that number called Krita. She is certain of that number 4, because whenever the game of dice happens, she is certain of that number and she wins the game. So between ladies and their husbands, if you are playing dice, you know who is the boss. Who is the boss? Yeah, you are playing the dice, so you are in control. Okay, so she is called as Kritagnya, the knower of Krita. The last name for today, Kama Pujitaye Namaha. So she is one who is worshipped by Kama. Who is Kama? Kama is born out of the mind. Kama is desire, born out of the mind. He is Ananga. He is one without a body, one without a definitive form. He doesn't have a form. So his bow is made of flowers. And where are these flowers? This is the sugarcane flowers. So again, it's so sweet. Though that is the way the bow is made. The bowstring is a line of bees, and the arrows are made from 5 flowers: lotus, ashoka, mango, jasmine, and blue lotus. These are the flowers that make up the 5 arrows. His deputy is Vasanta, the spring season. The battle chariot is wind from the Malaya mountain. Yeah. So you just imagine what Kama is made of. How beautifully Kama has been described. So with such equipment, Kama, with no body, conquers and subjugates the whole world. How? Because of Devi's glance. Devi has blessed Kama also. Devi recreated Kama. If you remember, Kama was destroyed by Lord Shiva. And because of Sati's prayer, because of her prayer, what happened? Kama was recreated by Devi, by Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. So she is worshipped as Kama Rupa, Kama Rupa, which is a name that comes later, but she is worshipped by Kama, and therefore she is called as Kama Pujitaye Namaha. So this brings us to the end of today's session. I offer these words at the lotus feet of Lalitha Sahasranamam Devi. Tomorrow, I'll talk about that once we close this YouTube session. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokah Samastah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Karacharana Kritam va Kayajam Karmajam va Shramananayana Jam va Manasam va Paradam Vihidam Avihidam va Sarvamedakshamasva. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So tomorrow the session will be at 9:30 a.m.